Yo, what's good, YouTube? Man, try to get some 2K25 tricks and tips, man. Trying to explain some things. Yes, sir. Let's get it. So, anyways, I really haven't done too much like YouTube. Shit's really just been like mostly like Twitch streaming and stuff like that. And I've run into a lot of people that don't know how to shoot and they just need opinions on stuff. So I'm not here to waste your time. I just want to get in, get out, give some cool tricks and tips, especially if you don't watch 2K Labs or 2K Toots. And if you don't watch 2K Labs or 2K Toots, Toots is Tutes. Look them up. Great info on all the updates between your badges, what affects everything in 2K25, and just how to become an all-around better player. But the things I wanted to talk about real quick is badge elevators. Nobody's talking about badge elevators, and for good reason, because it doesn't really do anything. So we're gonna go to the last thing at the end here, and it is the badge elevator instant 2 level boost. What does that actually do? What that does for you, all it does is take like a rebirth build or a build that you have a badge like you don't do, like maybe post fade phenom. Like if you don't use post fade phenom and you want to take it from bronze all the way to gold, you could just instantly do that. But usually what most people say, if you grind the whole season pass and you're on the same build that you started with, probably all your badges should be done. So it's not going to do anything. Like my badges, all my badges are completely done. I'm done with everything. So if I go to badge elevators, it's going to say there are no valid badges to apply this badge elevator to. It's not like, for instance, a badge +1. Like if I have Shifty Shooter on gold, I'm not going to be able to elevate it to legend. It's not that. It's more so a badge that you don't use if you don't have max badges to take it to that level. Nobody's really talking about badge elevators, and I can see why, because you grind all the way to level 40 for something that doesn't even matter, unless it's a badge that you don't use. So take that with a grain of salt. If you have a rebirth and you want to badge elevate it real quick, then you can go ahead and do that. Also, for instance, the badge elevator will not work if you do not have the stat points to be able to elevate it to that. For instance, if you start in the game and you have a 70 mid-range, but it goes to 93, you cannot elevate your Shifty Shooter to gold unless you actually put it to 93. So that's how they kind of get you there too. You have to upgrade your player, have the badge lower tier, and then you can elevate it to that without actually having to grind it. In a nutshell, that's badge elevators. High key trash, great for a rebirth, but not that great at the same time. I think that's very disappointing. I would have loved to see like a +1 permanent or something else like that. That would have been really cool, but unfortunately it's not. Into my next topic that I want to get to. If you're struggling with shooting, rhythm shooting, bro. I cannot stress this enough. I just want to go over it real quick. A lot of people don't really understand what it is. Let me go and just set my sliders real quick to the rec. A lot of people say the sliders don't work. For me, I went from shooting like 20 to 30% off the button. And this is somebody that came from 2K24. I was shooting 60, 70% with my shot creating 3 level. I was hitting, but I just couldn't miss. And I did use a meter. I was a meter shooter for a long time. I could pull up from whatever. A lot of people in the community don't like that, and that's understandable. Some people like the meter, some people don't. Most people don't. This year, not only did I have to turn off the meter, and I have to rhythm shoot in order for me to hit the same quality of life shots that I hit in 24. Now, in order to rhythm shoot, it's very simple. Just think about it like a precision dunk. You know how a precision dunk, you literally go up and down on the analog stick and you hold it, and usually you see your meter pop up, and then you just have to time it? It's almost the exact same way, except while you're standing still, while not holding turbo or anything else, you hold the analog stick in a direction that you want your shot to go in. For me, my default is going to be down. I'm going to hold it down. My jump shot is going to start. And when I hit that set point right before push, I'm going to flick the ball forward to match the tempo of my jump shot. I have my release maxed all the way out. So that means it's just going to be a quick flick for me. And then that's it. You'll get the timing and your tempo. Let's say your timing is off. That means if I pull slightly late, I held it down too long before I went to flick it up. Now, if my flick is too fast or flick is too slow, that means that I'm missing the flick to match the tempo. A little bit confusing, but you'll kind of get it. Imagine your flick like you're throwing the basketball. So if I flick it too slow, I'm throwing the basketball a little bit before it would hit the rim. So it would kind of be like a bounce back bar, or no, slightly early. So the ball would be like before it's about to hit the rim, you know? And if I flick it too hard, it's like I'm throwing the basketball too hard at the rim, if that makes sense. And then the tempo or the timing is your green window. So think about it like that. I missed my green window. That means I threw the ball possibly perfect in timing, but I missed my green window. And the green window is pretty significant. So if you want to practice on it, like I said, just catch the ball in your my court, hold the stick down, wait till he goes up, and then flick the ball up, and then you'll be able to get it. And then you'll be able to find that rhythm and be able to catch it in game. Important fact, very important fact, there is a latency though. You can't catch it and shoot it like you could just like a jump shot. As soon as you catch it, you can just pull really quick. On this one, there's a slight delay from you holding it down, and then it'll be able to get you to shoot it. So just remember, if you have that timing delay, like let's say I got a 3-and-D dude, he's all over me, bro. He's got 95 perimeter defense. The dude is breathing down my neck. I cannot get a jump shot off. You might want to revert to button shooting to be able to get yourself open if your timing allows it. But if you're already struggling as a shooter, now you got to go back into shot creation if you do have a mid-range. Rob, and they're like, what do you mean by shot creation? How do you even do that off rhythm? Well, I'm gonna explain it to you real quick. What it is, instead of up and down, now I'm moving it to left to right. What do I mean by that? So if I want to do a regular fader like I usually would in 22 or 24, I would hold turbo, go into a direction, hold down the button, time it, and let it go. Now I'm usually getting slightly earlies and slightly late. Now if I want to do that same jump shot in rhythm, I'll have to let go of turbo, go into the direction I want to go to, and hold my stick either left or right in the direction I'm heading into. And when I get to that set point, flick it in the opposite direction. So if I'm running left, I'm going to run left, no turbo, hold the analog stick left, and then flick it right when I get to that set point. That's how I do a fader, and now I get a massive green window instead of a small green window. But you're going to be like, Rob, damn, that shit's complicated, bro. Yes, it is. And unfortunately, that's how 2K wants to give you that massive green window boost due to that skill gap. If you put this shit in your bag and you learn it, over time it'll be second nature and it'll be better for you. I'm not saying you got to drop the button. I'm just saying something can elevate you in a situation where like you could be 0-2 to start, 0-3 to start, and now you're wide open, but you're 0-3 to start. What are you going to do? They don't even want to guard you anymore because you just mission. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit that in a rhythm and I'm going to just pull it. You know what I'm saying? And that could get you back into it. Now, most of my shots aren't going to be too incredible. Like I said, as I'm trying to make the example, I'm not really like focusing like on trying to like hit my shots like that. But I got an 84 3-ball on my 2-way 3-level shot creator. I don't have to have like a 92, 95, 99, 98. I can go ahead and hedge a couple things down for different stats. But if you do have it that high, you're doing yourself a disservice not to shoot in rhythm. Because your whole green window should be huge for you not to be able to miss. Like, you should be good with that. You could pull up whatever. Me on my 84, I actually got to be on point, like with my timing. And it took me from like a 30% shooter, lower 40%, back to like my 50, working on 60% shooting with an 84 3-ball in the rec, where I got 5 people switching and I don't have a lot of time to react. And if people are going to start disrespecting you, where you're just going to be wide open, ain't nobody going to guard you no more. You might as well just go ahead and practice on that thing. Pull up, hit that flick, green it, and show people that they can't disrespect you anymore because you got something in your bag. And once you green it, Green Machine is rolled into other badges like your set shooter. Now you got your green window up. Go ahead and revert back to the button and go back to your regular queue if you do have it on push, and that should give you a bigger green window. And that's my advice on shooting in rhythm. Also, don't forget, do not hold down turbo when you're trying to shoot in rhythm shooting, because if you do hold down turbo, he's going to do more of an aggressive step back every time you do it. So if I'm flicking, holding it, and I'm holding down turbo, I'm always going to step back. And when I step back, now I'm going to have to wait till he jumps and get into that set point to either flick it up or flick it to the side, depending on how I'm doing that rhythm shooting while I'm in turbo. And that's very confusing. So like right there, I was holding it down. My timing was great, but I was slightly fast. So like if you hold it down like that, it's going to cause you to rhythm shoot, but you're going to do a step back. Versus like before, you can hold down turbo on the button and it'll cause you to actually fade. Those are the biggest differences. So while you're actually cooking up with the analog stick, remember to let go of turbo and then hold it down to do a regular fade, and then flick it from right to left or left to right and vice versa to go from a non-aggressive fading jump shot to an aggressive step back jump shot if you're holding turbo. I know that's a mouthful and it's a lot. That's why you really got to get into your bag this year, especially if you're a shot creator. That way you can take your mid-range and then elevate it. And then one last tip I want to touch on with rhythm shooting: if you actually hold down turbo and you flick right to left and then hold it again, he'll do a more aggressive dribble move while you're holding it. So I'll do that, pull up, and then I'll shoot it. That's if I do turbo right to left, hold it, then I'll do something aggressive versus holding turbo in a direction. For instance, to the right, I'll step back, pull it. That's different versus if I'm pulling that right to left, hold it, do something aggressive, and then flick it back in the other way. There's so much shit that you can get into your bag this year. It's crazy, but you really got to be in the lab working on it. Test it out in game, see what works for you and see what doesn't work for you. Also, my post control is only at 61. I literally got post fade phenom on bronze until I hit starter 3, which is coming up pretty soon for my cap breakers. I'm probably going to do it for my driving duck. But for instance, if you're already holding down LT or L2 and you're holding down turbo and you're holding the stick in the opposite direction, you can get an aggressive fader that sets a lot of room or gets a lot of room for your defender, and you can flick the stick up. And I'm still greening them hoes off bronze post fade phenom. So if you have your post fade phenom higher, work on that rhythm shooting post fade. It will elevate you to a higher level and give you a massive green window on your competition, and they won't see that coming, and you can add something else to your bag. So that's really what I think about rhythm shooting versus the button. I'm not saying you got to ditch it. I'm just saying work on a couple things to be able to give you more in your bag. And especially if you're a limitless range shooter, this year I see people with deep range bomber. They're coming in, they got deep range bomber. They're coming up with the button and they just shooting that hoe. And they're like, damn, that shit's slightly early, slightly late. And they haven't been shooting limitless the whole game. Mind you, they right here. They shooting, they practicing, and they just greening right here. And then they get deep range bomber and they're like, oh, I got limitless. I'm about to just pull up and hit, bro. Like, no, you're not about to pull up and hit because the green window is still not that great. If you got deep range bomber and you shoot in rhythm, now you still got that massive green window to where you can actually hit it. So to my deep range bomber people, it helps you in your limitless range to be able to get rhythm shooting, and then you'll be able to hit like that. Like, I can actually get like my limitless range, like I'm caught in a situation, and then I can get it. But also it goes back to green machine. If I'm green and shit and my green machine is up, I can shoot in rhythm and I can go and I can pull a little bit more crazier shit. But if I'm missing again, and even if I'm in rhythm, I still got to be able to take smart shots. I got to be able to pull up to my mid-range, stop, pop, pull it, and hit it so I can get that green machine activated, because I got a 93 mid-range and an 84 3-ball. Like, I can't just be pulling whatever because I'm in rhythm. Now, if you got it opposite, you got like a 92, 94, 98 3-ball, then yeah, go crazy. Just remember, if you're shooting from limitless, you might want to use it for the stick because the green window is so tiny with the button. It's ridiculous, especially when I see people with like a 99 3-ball, Hall of Fame or Legend limitless and deep range bomber, and them motherfuckers out here talking about, yo, send me a screen, send me a screen, send me a screen. They pull it and then they still clanking it, and they can't understand why, because they're not shooting at rhythm. So that's about all the advice I can give for that on some quick stuff. Just work on, like I said, hot zones, hot zones, hot zones. Make sure to check your hot zones out. I believe my hot zones are getting a lot better. Everything on my shit was cold. As you can see, I'm not even a 3-point shooter and all my shit red. Like, I'm Gucci now. Before, my shit was terrible. The mid-range is what I struggle with because it's so complex in mid-range and you have to react very quickly. I will tell you that rhythm in mid-range is definitely difficult this year versus the button. And badge elevators, remember, you got to work on that too if you want to do that for your rebirth. And remember, if you make a character, and this is another thing with rebirth, right now, obviously, I'm 99. If I rebirth a character when I was 91 on my way to 99 because I just want to mess with some stuff at 60 overall, it will only go to 91. Delete it, redo it with your 99, and then you could just do your rebirth to 99. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So basically, those are my quick trick tips for rhythm shooting. Hopefully I explained that really well. I'm going to work on hopefully getting like the little controller thing on there so you can see how I'm flicking it. And then if anybody comments on some other stuff to make more sense, I'll probably do like some I don't know, some dribbling tutorials, some other tutorials where I really break it down. I just been having a lot of people ask me like, Rob, you know, do you have any videos or anything else like that? I pull people into my court. They were shooting terrible. I pull them into my court, show them rhythm shooting. We go back into the rec and they just dropping people off, bro. It's just like that. I've had people in game go 0 for 6. And then they shoot in rhythm and just guess it. And then they green something, bro. So I'm like, bro, I gotta make a video, bro. I gotta put people on, bro, because they ain't paying attention. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm probably gonna try to make a little bit more videos on 2K news, updates, and some more things like that. But I appreciate you if you drop a comment and a like, all that other stuff you can. If you don't, just appreciate you watching the video, man. You feel me? But I'm out this thing, y'all. Peace.